So 1 year ago, we had an amazing Archon Quest in Genshin by the name of Caribou, or Caribou, or however you want to pronounce it. And that quest really showed us how hilly churls were made. I mean, like, the lore in that quest was insane. We had direct interaction with the people of Kandria. We had Dainsleif, obviously. We didn't have enough Paimon there. And we had Kaya and Dainsleif meeting and all. It was just a peak Archon quest. Like, the quest that progresses the main story where the traveler is finding their twin. Come 1 year later, we have another quest set in Sumeru with Dainsleif while interacting with the people of Kandria, titled Bedtime Story. Now, this quest had a lot of expectations. I expected a lot from this quest because it's coming after a year and we just finished with the Fontaine arc. We didn't get any answers essentially. Fontaine was so messed up on its own that it was basically useless. Nahida gave us more answers, but that's beside the point. Talking about the Archon Quest, we came back to Sumeru. We had this really interesting commission where there's a missing person who wasn't a missing person, was just spoilers obviously, but you get the point. Here's a person in the dreams and all. So we came back. We met Dainsleif. Dainsleif arrived. We interacted with the Abyss Order. We got more Kandria lore. And I think the main highlight of this, Archon Quest was not Dainsleif. It wasn't. The man is amazing and all, and everybody loves him. And I know every Genshin player is gonna pull for the man when he becomes, playable. I can guarantee it that, many people will be saving for him whenever he drops. So that's beside the point. Dainsleif was not the highlight. The main highlight was the reunion of your traveler and your twin. For me, I play Lumine, so I'm gonna talk in the context of Lumine and Aether, but you can, if you play Aether, you can just adjust it by yourself. Alright, we had Paimon in this, but Paimon's voice has taken on a different direction since 4.6. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have, and her voice is less squeaky and it's better. It's much better, and it's amazing. I prefer Paimon's voice right now. I don't even remember what it was like back then, but it just sounds different and it's good. So Paimon wasn't very annoying in this quest. Dainsleif was, Dainsleif, he doesn't give us anything. He just tells us, I will tell you the answer and I'm with you, and then he does whatever he wants. But Dainsleif was in it. We went to another ruin that was probably inspired by the Kandria architecture and all. It was probably affected by the cataclysm. That domain that we entered. I have no idea if crevices and rocks are like that, but it was a domain. Yep, the main takeaway was not any of that. We had the lore with the field tiller, the first eye of the field tiller, what Kandria wants, why they're working with Loom of Fate. The main 2 points that I feel in this quest that really, were absolutely peak was one, the reunion, obviously, but I'm going to talk about that later. Second point, which I'm going to talk about first, is the missing person. Now, while playing the story, you're confused because, in the teaser trailer and you had this animated shot as well. So you're thinking that maybe the missing person could be our twin, maybe in the past, and somehow the memories are affected, because we obviously know that our twin has traveled our journey. He's already reached the end of it. So while we are traveling, they already know what's to come. So that's why I thought initially that maybe Aether was the missing person and we were just finding him. But then as the quest moved on, and then when Atosa came up. Now Atosa was a character that I really enjoyed, and I really loved the character arc. Even though it was a short arc, it had a very sad ending with her essentially feeling like she was dumped and she actually fell in love with the missing person and all. It was very bittersweet character arc for her, but I loved her. And I really like, Sumeru NPCs. I just like their clothes. She was beautiful. Alright, that aside, the missing person, as you play through the quest, you figure it out that the missing person isn't your twin, but it's actually Carrie Bear. And Carrie Bear is the child that turned into a hilly churl, that was turned into a hilly churl by force to become the Loom of Fate. And the Loom of Fate, we get more lore about the Loom of Fate in this quest, where it has the power to create ley lines. It's the terminology that they used in the quest was to weave ley lines, but same thing, create ley lines. It's a powerful thing. I don't know what the Abyss Order and everybody else is trying to do over there, but still. So we had some insight on the memory of Carrie Bear, and we actually had a human NPC instead of that hilly chill that we had last time. So that was amazing. That was actually really amazing. It also looked pretty cool. I'm excited for when Kandria drops in Genshin. I don't know if there'll be any NPCs, but it just might be cool. So right, we had these epic scenes. They were going with Dainsleif into the domain, exploring the domain. Dainsleif sending us out, and then our twin came. Aether comes for me, and I was like, "Yo, the man is here." after so much time, we will be reunited, that Archon Quest after Mondstadt. I think this was the first time that I actually saw Aether. it was actually a hype moment, not gonna lie. Very hype moment. And then you had the Dainsleif Aether fight, which was done off screen because Genshin has to manage their budget on the cutscenes. I would have really loved a Dainsleif and Aether fight cutscene. That would have been amazing. But I prefer it that they kept it off screen because that would have been a strong spoiler for the quest and how it went on. So we had some epic moments. We had moments where we figure out whose memory it is. We had moments with Carrie Bear. We had moments to see where Atosa and Carrie Bear had this genuine friendship that when you play through it, you just do not want to break that friendship, or what do you want to call it, but it just hurts, man. It hurts. And then you realize how broken and how tortured Carrie Bear was, but still, even after that, he was pure, he was sincere, he was a good human being. And I actually felt very, very bad when he talked to us and told us about him. And especially the part where he told a story to the hilly churls to calm them, because hilly churls' minds are always in constant anguish, in pain, because we got first-hand experience from Carrie Bear. He tells us that the hilly churls' minds, and whenever they see themselves, that's why they wear masks. It's in the lore of Genshin as well. The hilly churls that you beat, also they have such a sad history. It's so sad. So they have immense pain going on in their minds, and Carrie Bear tells them a bedtime story, the title of the Archon Quest, a bedtime story, to calm them for even just a moment. And it was such a beautiful moment in the quest. I actually shed a tear for it. After that, we had the cutscene where Carrie Bear departs. He's like, I can't control the memory anymore, and I'm leaving. So he leaves, but then right after that, Aether comes. And Lumine's, I'm just a huge fan of Lumine. She's the traveler that I chose. And when I chose her initially, I was like, okay, I want to choose the female because obviously, duh, females are hot. So I chose her. I searched her name on Google and I found out that her canon name was Lumine. So I named her Lumine in the game. And I just, played through the quest, and even though many people feel like Aether or Lumine are self-inserts, I don't feel that, because I see them as their own character. I see Genshin Impact as a game which has its own story, which is not you're self-inserting yourself into the character and experience it. I see it as an RPG like The Witcher 3, where you're playing an established character. So I feel Lumine is an established character with an established personality, and I just grew close with her and seeing her, and she speaks a lot in this quest. I mean, comparatively. So, who's the voice actor? Someone. I mean, I'm forgetting the name right now, but the voice actor was absolutely amazing in this quest. Like, with Lumine's emotions as she spoke with Aether, it just, it just made me cry. I was so emotional when I was playing that scene, especially that conversation. Like, the first moment when Lumine sees Aether, she's like so shocked. Like, how can this be possible? Or when she raises her hand to touch Aether's cheek, and then she realizes that it's just an illusion, and it's just so sad. It's just so heartbreaking to see that. But then you have this conversation where they just spend time watching a timeless sunset, like a sunset that never sets, and they just talk about the casual stuff. They talk about how they, what their goals are, why Aether still hates the heavenly principles. I mean, they talk about what's to come basically. And there's this one part in the entire conversation that actually really made me emotional. Was the part where Lumine says that why can't we take this journey together, like go on this journey together.
There's just one thing I have to ask, one thing I could never understand. Why can't we continue our journey together?
And that was companionship. Everybody wants companionship, and we're playing as a character who's searching for her twin, who's searching for the person she's always been close with. She's never left his side ever. Now we have Paimon, obviously, and Paimon is helping us the very best that she can, but still, the sibling relationship is something I think only siblings would be able to understand. And in their twins, they have an even deeper relationship, because twins, siblings, it's like there's a different level of bonding right there that I don't think any other people would be able to understand. So it's just this entire quest, it was short, it was insanely short, and I would have liked a 3-hour long Archon Quest, but for what it was, I absolutely loved it, enjoyed it. It was honestly peak Genshin Impact, and stories like this make me love this game so much. It was so beautiful, so amazing, so well written, so well voiced. The story flow, the pacing, the location, they chose Sumeru, which is my favorite region in this game. I mean, even after Fontaine, I still love Sumeru, and whenever I go back to Sumeru, it just feels like home. So going back, it was just beautiful. It was so beautiful. Now I don't know where we will go from here, but I just hope it's pretty epic. We're going to Natlan next, so let's see what Natlan has to offer, and then we'll see what Archon Quest we get in 5.6 or 5.7, because maybe that's the patch where we get the Dainsleif quest. But still, amazing. It was Bedtime Story at peak Archon, peak Genshin, and yep, it's just so beautiful. The Aether and Lumine finally reuniting, amazing. Alright, that's it for now. I'm going to stop over here. So what were your thoughts on this entire Archon Quest? I mean, did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Did you want more? I know I did, but we have to end it somewhere. I really like the fact that we had dolls of Atos and Caribou sitting on that tree. Now I don't know if it's still there. I will have to go back to it and check on it, but I did take some pictures, and it's just so heart touching. This is a very, very touching story, very bittersweet, sweet pain, but it was a nice story, and I wish Genshin still continues it. And the animated shot was so beautiful. It gave the entire Archon Quest so much more depth, because you see the twins journey, and then you see your journey, and then you see what they've been through. You understand Dainsleif's character a bit, you understand the twin a bit, that they went through a phase which was far more turbulent for Tibet compared to when we are traveling. So they've seen much more scarier stuff out there, and what is, like, what the heavenly principles are truly capable of, maybe, or like what they ignored, so that's why they hate it. I mean, it was amazing. And with Aimer, singing that song, like, Aimer is enough said. Like, she is amazing. The entire animated show, the Archon Quest, absolutely peak Genshin Impact. So that's where I'm going to stop it. Amazing quest. Tell me what were your thoughts, and if you like this reaction to the entire Bedtime Story quest, do leave a like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.